All right, you peace-eating motherfucker, let's go. Episode 5 of Peacemaker Season 2 is hitting in just a couple of days, and I want to talk about it. Hello everyone, this is Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel, a fan of the DCU and Peacemaker, hit that subscribe button. I talk about it, discuss it with you all weekly here on the channel, and I want to know your thoughts of Peacemaker Season 2 in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts of it thus far. Is it living up to Season 1? Are you liking it compared to Season 1? What do you think of the new intro as well? This one has grown on me. I thought right off the bat the song was a stronger song choice. The intro, the first one was so iconic. The second one, it just was never going to live up to it, but I think they've done a damn good job. Today, we're going to tee up episode 5 back to the suture of Peacemaker and discuss what I think is going to happen. I want to know what you guys think is going to happen in the comments. Let me know those. So let's get right into the preview for episode 5, back to the suture of Peacemaker. Last week's episode left us with Harcourt betraying Chris, leading Rick Flag Sr. to his destination on a park bench. Eagly was, of course, being hunted by Red Sane Wild, and the quantum chamber is still this massive Chekhov's gun waiting to blow the story wide open. And I think that's where we're going this week. I think this is the beginning of the end of Peacemaker in our dimension. Now, of course, I think he's going to ultimately go back to our dimension, but I think this is the beginning of the end of him leaving there. And the week after this, episode 6, we've heard James Gunn discuss that it's kind of crazy. There's a lot going on. There's things he doesn't want anybody to see or know what's going on in that episode. And I think this is the end of Peacemaker here. And from this point on, it's going to be about the 11th Street kids trying to bring him back, and Christopher Smith learning that that other dimension is not as perfect or the best dimension as he believes. Gunn absolutely wants us to distrust Harcourt at this point in time. What her play ultimately is remains to be seen, but she's obviously guiding Rick Flag Sr. and Argus towards Christopher Smith on that park bench. For what purpose? Obviously, she wants to get her job back, but I think there's more to it than this. If you remember in the trailer, she mentions how this is all just a ploy of Rick Flag Sr. taking out revenge for what Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, did to his son, murdering his son, obviously. So she knows the game. She knows what's at stake. She also does want her life and career back, of course, but there's more to it than this, and I think Chris Smith's Peacemaker and the 11th Street kids mean too much to Harcourt for this to just blow up in her face. That being said, maybe this is heat of the moment type thing, and she's doing this for Rick Flag Sr. because she wants her job back, and then she immediately regrets it and goes back. It's going to be one of those two plays, I'm sure. But right now, James Gunn, for whatever reason, wants us to not have any trust in Harcourt. Not faith, not anything else, just trust, just hardcore trust in Harcourt. He wants us to have nothing to do with that. Episode 5 looks like it's going to be the ultimate payoff for Rick Flag Sr. This one looks like him and Peacemaker are going to get to an epic showdown, which it looks like Peacemaker is going to come out on top, victorious on this one-on-one brawl with Rick Flag Sr. because we see him go to the QUC later on with Eagly saying, "You ready for the next adventure, pal?" How early this happens in the episode, that's a question. This is 40 seconds they've given us, 39, whatever it is. They haven't shown us basically anything for this episode. So where could this be going? What's it leading to? But I think Rick Flag Sr. and Peacemaker are going to get into a tete-a-tete, if you will, and that's going to lead to Peacemaker leaving because he can't trust Harcourt anymore, which again goes back to that headspace that James Gunn wants us in for her, and he can't trust anybody else out of bio. Anybody, I don't think he's going to have any faith in anybody at this point because the Harcourt heel turn is going to hit him so strongly. And that leads us right into Eagly being hunted by Red Sane Wild, who was a character Michael Rooker just ate the scenery with last week. I can't wait to see more of what's going on here. I don't think that Eagly is going to bite the bullet, quite literally, in this episode or this series, but at the same time, that would be quite a blow for Peacemaker if that were the case. If Eagly goes down, that would shatter his whole world, which would lead him going to another dimension quite permanently. That being said, we've seen in the promo now him and Eagly at the QUC doorway, and he asking if he wants to go on his next adventure, which will be him going into that best dimension ever, which I think will not be the case. And that's a question I really have about this episode too, is how deep are we going to get into that dimension? Are we going to see more with his brother, with his father? We're going to learn more about the terrific trio. At what point does this end off where they leave us hanging for episode 6, 7, and ultimately episode 8, which will be the big climax of whatever is going on in that other dimension? So all in all, this episode, we're seeing Harcourt is going to betray Chris and realize that Rick Flag Sr. is only driven by revenge, not nobility as she thought. Chris will fight and beat Rick Flag Sr., but at a cost, and that cost is leaving his dimension. Peacemaker's going to take the quantum chamber and step into a new reality, the so-called best dimension ever. This isn't just about sci-fi spectacle, it's the metaphorical move Gunn loves. Chris leaving his trauma behind, literally stepping into peace. And this, as a whole, could lead to the big, I won't say multiverse, but I'm going to say multiverse implications that James Gunn has had going into this. He's not calling it a multiverse, so I won't, but I don't know what to call other dimensions and stuff. So this could have a big, big impact on Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn every week drops his curated playlist for each episode. So let's break down each song and how we think they'll be used in this particular episode. And let me know in the comments down below how you think the songs will be used in the episode. And are you a fan of any of these? Obviously, the main one we're going to kick off with is Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam. This is already the theme song, but the fact it's still front-loading every episode means Gunn wants us thinking about Chris's whole identity. It's bombastic, ridiculous, it's over the top, just like Peacemaker. It's almost like a prayer and a mockery at the same time, which perfectly mirrors Chris's character. He's the broken guy begging for redemption, but he's doing it in the most insane way possible. Next on his curated playlist, he's got Ain't That Kind of Girl by the Diamonds. And look, this screams Harcourt to me. This is the track that's going to underline her betrayal, her moment of pulling Chris into the trap. It's cocky, defiant, and it's all about saying, I'm not what you think I am. That's exactly how Harcourt is being positioned right now. She's not the loyal partner Peacemaker wanted her to be, at least not in this moment, and Gunn using this track will make that cut even deeper. Next we've got some November Rain by Guns N' Roses. If you know James Gunn, you know he doesn't drop a song like this lightly. This is the big, emotional centerpiece. It's long, it's epic, it's mournful, and it's always tied to loss and bittersweet endings. I can totally see this playing during or right after the fight with Flag Sr., where Chris is standing over the man, battered and bloodied, realizing that winning doesn't mean peace. Or maybe it underscores another moment with Peacemaker stepping into the quantum chamber, leaving everything behind. The swelling guitars, the melancholy tone. This is Gunn telling us to cry while watching a man in a shiny toilet bowl helmet walk into another dimension. And in his mind, for good. Like, he's not coming back. His plan is to go there for good, I'm convinced. And finally, Take Me For a Ride by Bad City. Now, this one screams transition track. I can totally see it blasting as Peacemaker gears up for his final move, packing up for the chamber, heading to his cabin. It's got that restless, on-the-road vibe, like you're leaving everything behind you. And you don't know exactly where you're going. Perfect needle drop for Peacemaker stepping into that portal, choosing to take one last ride into the unknown. So when we talk about these songs, combine them, and we put them in the big, salad bowl, and we start tossing them around, this is what we get. You basically get the full structure. Bombastic intro with Oh Lord, Harcourt's betrayal moment punctuated by Ain't That Kind of Girl, the Flag Sr. showdown drenched in November rain, and Chris's final choice set against Take Me For a Ride. That's a James Gunn playlist roadmap if I've ever seen one. So ultimately, this episode is going to lead us into episode 6. Of course, we know that, and that is the episode where a lot of DC characters are going to make cameos. There's going to be a lot of big surprises in that one. So this episode, I don't think this is going to be the Grand Wa episode that we've been getting from episode 5s in other series. I think this one might be toned down a little bit. It's going to be fun. It's going to be action-packed. I'm not saying that, but I think the big stuff is coming next week. Next week is going to blow our minds. This week is kind of going to be the bridge to get us there. It's still going to be a good time. The season, I think, has been great. Last episode, I thought was my personal favorite, mostly because of the Harcourt Rick Flag Sr. scene. I just thought that scene was great, and I hope we get more of those in the future, set alongside all the action, all the fun stuff, and of course, the great music. And look, man, they're releasing the Eagly LP. How would you say? Can't remember. They're releasing. I cannot wait to get my hands on that. I hope I'm able to. It looks fantastic. 4-track vinyl. Let me know your thoughts. Back to the suture. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate your time. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and until next time, may be the master of your own universe.